Hello and welcome to a new edition of our program, The Arab Affairs. And we start with some local news. And Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli inspected on Saturday a number of industrial and technological projects in Bani Suef governorates. The Prime Minister was accompanied by Minister of Industry Ahmed Samir, Minister of Local Development Hisham Amna, Bani Suef Governor, as well as a number of state officials. The inspection is scheduled to be followed by attending the Rise Up Summit for Startups at the Grand Egyptian Museum, which kicked off earlier on Friday. And Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry stressed the importance that Israel abide by its commitments as an occupying power by opening all land border crossings with Gaza Strip and total access to humanitarian aid in a secure way without any hurdles. This came in a phone call held by Shoukry with the Senior Humanitarian and Reconstruction Coordinator for Gaza, Sigrid Kaag, as both sides discussed different humanitarian dimensions witnessed by Gaza Strip. Both officials underscored the necessity of providing safe conditions to allow humanitarian aid through Rafah border crossing and ending military operations around the crossings. And Al Arish International Airport received 2 relief aid planes from Pakistan and Russia for Palestinians in Gaza Strip. A source at the airport said the Pakistani plane was loaded with 95 tons of relief aid and the Russian plane carries 30 tons of humanitarian aid. The source noted that the 2 planes were unloaded at logistic storage in Al Arish city ahead of sending them to Gaza via Rafah border crossing in coordination between the Egyptian and Palestinian Red Crescents and the United Nations Relief Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA. Welcome back. And heavy clashes and bombardments on Saturday rocked Gaza's southern city of Rafah as Israeli military announced the first 310 pallets of humanitarian aid had entered the besieged territory via a U.S.-built pier. Details in this report. Heavy clashes and bombardments Saturday rocked Gaza's southern city of Rafah as Israeli military announced the first 310 pallets of humanitarian aid had entered the besieged territory via a U.S.-built pier. More than 10 days into what the Israeli military called limited Operation Rafah, fighting between Israeli forces and Palestinian factions has also flared again in Gaza's north. Correspondents, witnesses and medics said there were intense battles overnight in the northern Jabalia refugee camp after the Israeli army reported on Friday perhaps the fiercest violence in the town in more than 7 months of war. U.S. warned of total stoppage of aid operations in Gaza Strip in few days in case of continuation of blocking fuel into the Strip. Hamas announced that it attacked 15 Israeli soldiers after storming a house they were using it as a hideout eastern of southern city of Rafah. Occupation forces continued its aggression for the 225th day of its war on Gaza Strip, bombing several areas. Health Ministry in Gaza said Israel's offensive on Gaza has killed at least 35,000 people in Gaza, mostly civilians. The Israeli incursion into Rafah launched despite overwhelming international opposition and as mediators were hoping for a breakthrough in stalled truce talks, has worsened an already dire humanitarian crisis, aid group says.